our classroom is pretty much discovery-based approach. When bringing in cultural concepts, we want to start large, go small. A lot of times you see 3-year-olds learning about the city they live in and the community they live in, and that's great, but then it's harder for them to grasp. Well, I live in Bowling Green, it's in the state of Ohio, it's in the country of the United States, it's on the continent of North America, and then they learn about the other continents. We like to start with the big picture because it's easier for them to understand that they live in a small part of a big area. And so we have 2 different globes in our classroom. This is our colored globe, and they get to see which continents are different from each other. So the color symbolizes each continent. So North America is orange, South America is pink, Africa is green. And it's just pretty much for them to explore. We don't usually we introduce our globe, but we don't usually have a lesson with them. We talk about the continents, we sing a song, and we want them to come to the globe and be internally motivated to learn about the different parts of the world. So we start with our globe. We have a sandpaper globe too, which is more tactile for them. They get to experience what continent's larger than the other continents, and what their continent that they live on feels like. Before introducing the map, because they're more of a concrete age, they don't quite understand how you can go from a globe that is round to a map that is flat, and why would part of Asia be over here next to North America when on our map it's on top, and that's a harder concept for them to grasp. So we do a smaller lesson before, and it's, get it out. And if I had more time, I probably would do different parts of each continent and put them on this ball of Play-Doh, just using different colored Play-Doh. And they would say, this is our Earth. It's round, and it's blue today because of the oceans. And then I would cut it in half into hemispheres, I would call it. And I'd place it on the paper plate. And they would get to see, because a lot of times we talk about how it's easier to draw on a flat surface. It's easier to explore on a flat surface. And so lots of times we have maps that are flat. And when we split our globe into hemispheres, it looks different because it's flat. But they learn that it is actually round. But we just do this for exploration. And that's just a simple lesson for them to see why on a map our world looks different than it does on a globe. We also talk about the continents, so they learn that they're in North America, and a lot of times we have a lot of puzzle maps, and this is our continent map, and for each continent map we have a control, and it acts just like a puzzle for them, and it labels the continents on this puzzle, and they're able to take North America and find where it fits, and a lot of times this is giving them the exploration of what the size of each continent and what it may feel like. And because we don't do much lessons on this, they're right now developing so many different questions about each continent. And it's so fun to see and so exciting for them to come to us with, why is Europe smaller than Asia? And what kind of animals live on each continent? We get those questions a lot. And when they start to talk about the animals that live in different continents, they wonder, why don't we have that animal on our continent? Which brings us back to the globe, and we can talk about how we're on an axis. And this is for the older ones, the 6-year-olds, 5, 6-year-olds, and how we do have an equator and the sun beats down on our world differently. So parts of the area is going to be warmer than other parts of the area, and some animals can't survive in a colder climate. That's why you find them in different continents. And we have a continent map for all of the continents, and they're broken down into territories, provinces, and states. And so that's when they start to learn that Russia is a big country. They start to learn that Costa Rica is a smaller one. And then they develop their questions accordingly. We give lessons during the year on different continents. So we could do a study of Africa. We could study the climate. We could study the animals. And it gives them a part. Almost everyone in the class can say that I live in North America, and they'll come point to the area. And I think this is great because I learned the traditional way, and I did my Montessori training after. And they have so much more of a global awareness. They just know so much more that I live in Bowling Green, but there's so much other parts of the world that I like to learn about. And when doing my student teaching in a traditional school, it was more, I live in Bowling Green, and that's all I know. We have a library, and they talk about the community, and I think that's great too. But the kids in the classroom that I teach in now know so much about Australia and the territories in Australia, and I just think I love that.